And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alienware Awesome Cup. Another round of 32 coming right at you. You excited for this?
I'm so excited I can't actually unclench my hands right now.
Yeah, neither can I. I don't know why. I think they're glued there.
It's just like I saw who's coming up next, and I was just like, yes! And this was a jump for joy that kind of got caught, and it's now just stuck.
Oh, well, that's a problem. So you said that there's some familiar faces coming up this
There
match.
is.
Do you think we should just probably just get right into the picks then and see what's going on with the familiar faces? Do we think we should lift the surprise, or do you think that we should talk?
Well, they've already obviously seen the team names because of the coming up screen. But coming up into this next round of 32 match here for the Alienware Awesome Cup, it's going to be Team All-Star up against the Burning Brawlers. So Team All-Star is some familiar faces. If you've been around the scene, we know a few of them, but that team comp looks extremely bursty.
That is an understatement. Between Airstrike, Tongue, and Frog.
Bursty.
Yes, awesomely bursty. Then we've got the Burning Brawlers, and they're sitting on Scree, Lone Star, and Sentry. Another bit of a poking team, but the coolest thing about them is that every single one of them has a mobility restricting or manipulating effect between Bull, Totem, and Black Hole Sun. There is a lot of potential to pull Ted or Leon out of place, and if they're stuck in one spot, they can't get out. Frog is the only one who can get out, and even then, he can't get away from Slow Bull or a strong gravity field, and finally, he can't dash through Totem. So they've got team we're small and bursty versus team we're tanky, sort of, but more importantly, you're going to stay right here where we want you to be. And this might be the counter team to All-Star in terms of makeup. But as per usual when it comes to knots, it's all about team skill and how the players play it out. So let's go ahead and get this party started. As per usual with this, we're still at a best of one, and we're still on Aiguillon. On the red team, we have Duckman Drake heading up the Leon. We've got Daniel Will on the Frog, and we have Harry Butchers on the Ted. By the way, he recently helped to program the new Skoldir bot. So keep that in mind if you ever see him on the field to thank Harry Butchers later. On the blue Lone Star, we have Caesar Salad. We've got Surfer Girl on the, oh wow, this is getting crazy. Sentry almost getting everybody in that Black Hole Sun, but it's not enough. The Gnawizer and Surf Girl unable to quite finish these off. So Surf Girl being the Sentry, and finally the Gnawizer not on Gnaw, but in fact on a Scree.
So you can already see that we're having some airstrikes coming out from the Ted, and that actually landed us into some really good early game damage from both sides because we had the Black Hole Sun as well coming out. But once more, you know, airstrikes in the bottom lane does actually travel right back up, pierces the heavens, so to speak, and does a nice big line of damage. And at the same time, oh, Daniel Will's actually go right into that Black Hole Sun because once again, we're having a Sentry in the map, and the Sentry just puts down a lot of those photon charges, is able to, you know, zip zoom around the map a little bit later, but it's all about trying to get that wombo with the Black Hole Sun.
Absolutely. And even then with the Black Hole Sun, it's not just a normal wombo, but it's that Saw Blade wombo that a couple of other teams that we've seen already today try to pass off, and it just hasn't worked. The Chain Lightning finding Harry Butchers, but it's not going to end up doing a lot. Surf Girl almost getting picked off by an airstrike there, but it's not going to be enough. Daniel Will running for his life. So is Harry Butchers, and so is Duckman Drake. Everybody's just running as the blue team, proving to be bursty enough to be able to send most of them packing. Harry Butchers must have picked up the creeps since he's at near full now.
Yeah, so you know, hit points were low across the board there for Red. We also had a totem right there on that platform just at that jump pad. So again, as you said, a little bit more manipulation coming in from the blue. If they can actually get off a nice pin like that, it's almost just cake to pick up the kill. So we haven't really seen too many more of these black holes actually landing, but the creeps are absolutely getting decimated from both sides, and we're seeing absolutely no tower pressure going forward. And you know, into the jungle, it's actually going to be a little bit of a scuff.
And the one thing that we're noticing this game a lot of is movement. No team is on the same lane for any period of time. If you remember, like the first couple of games, we had the Clunk and the Sentry just sitting together the whole time. In this case, no. Everybody's moving all the time, going from lane to lane and clearing droids and looking for opportunities to pick someone off and deal the killing blow, the first blood kill, still not having come out yet.
Oh, Daniel was invisible. All right, so let's say that's an interesting tactic to show yourself like that. But yeah, when you're invis, you can't do that. The towers don't have any kind of big, you know, stealth checks at this point. It's just you can literally go up and hug it if you want, but I don't know why you would. Either way, then once again, you see that totem landing right there on top of that jump pad just to try to deny a little bit of extra movement. But mobility is the key. All of these knots are just extremely mobile, and they're all roaming together.
And it's really cool to see this, because this is the active gameplay that Ronimo tried to put together when they made the creep changes in the patch 2.7 a patch ago, before this latest one came out. So it's really cool to see this finally come to fruition with this matchup between BurningBrawlers and Team AllStars.
Yeah, so once again, like, we know the names on the All-Stars. BurningBrawlers, another possibly hidden talent, as they are here into the round of 32, so they have won all of their games so far. It will be the round of 16, of course, with the best of threes that we are currently awaiting matches here. But coming back into this one, BurningBrawlers pushing forward, but ooh.
They pushed forward, but unfortunately they got caught. The Lone Star got tongued and then was instantly killed by a dash NATO out of Daniel Will. And then another repeat right there. Narizer now getting caught out, getting completely body blocked and sandwiched. And that's a team wipe. 4 minutes into this game, we were looking for a first blood. We just got 3 in the span of a couple of seconds.
And now all of a sudden those towers are not going to look nearly so pristine. The hit points are just low across the board. Harry Butcher is actually tanking out the turret, just trying to keep those creeps nice and protected so they can do their pushing game. But now that we got those drop pods down, you can hear the taunts actually going back and forth. The Sentry is very metallic and very robotic with his.
And very angry.
And very angry, yeah. Could Binary be angry? Today we will find out on Awesome Nuts. But
001.
yeah, so we do got the map presence now back here for the Brawlers, but that was a hefty amount of damage in the top.
Absolutely, a lot of damage. But here's the big thing. Not only did they get a decent amount of damage on this turret, oh, Darkman Drake might end up going down here. That bull, unfortunately, does not hit, and it looks like the rest of his team ending up to help him right there to get out of there. Harry Butchers puts on an airstrike, and Narizer now trying to go in for a kill, maybe. But Darkman Drake comes back. There's a tongue, there's a dash, there's a NATO, and there goes the scree. But at what cost? Daniel Will going down with it. Darkman Drake now trying to get away from the Black Hole Sun, and he will succeed getting away there. But Caesar Salad taking a ton. Bull into the turret, and Darkman Drake's going to have to run away. And as a result, Caesar Salad is going to be able to live as well.
That was 2 narrow escapes, though, for Duckman Drake. He got into there. Very clutch health came actually from the jungle creeps, and that's why he survived the first one. Second one, just kind of the skin of the teeth, but, really well played out from the Lone Star. He's able to trade out the 1 kill, so they do got that 1 kill on the board because of the Dynamite, but at the same time, they were not able to secure the kill on Duckman Drake, and I have to fear if that's going to be a recurring theme.
Oh, Darkman Drake picks up the invis, though through no real volition of his own as the Black Hole Sun pulls him to it. But here we go. Team All-Stars going in for the thing here. Duckman Drake gets bulled, gets pushed back into the Black Hole Sun. He's trying to get out. He takes a little bit of damage, and he's being cornered as the photon launchers finally end up picking him off with the help of Caesar Salad's blaster. Dynamite coming out on Daniel Will. He's going to take both of the dynamite sticks to the face. And now the blue team in a 3v2 advantage. They need to be able to put this to the good use and get some damage out on those turrets to really put All-Stars back in their place.
Yeah. So putting, as I said, All-Stars in their place. A little bit of damage has gone out to the top. You also have the Black Hole Sun there as well. But Froggy and Harry Butchers into the bottom lane is just going to be able to clean that up very nicely. We do have Leon back on the board now as well. Airstrike will, of course, clean up the aggression at the top. So maybe it doesn't look like the best kind of push, but hey, they got the damage and they're pushing their hearts content. They're also getting a lot of cash here from the creeps and just trying to keep All-Stars at bay.
And they're doing a decent job, although the board says it's 4-2. The Solar says a much closer story. There's only a total of 200 to 300 Solar between the two teams that got different. That they're in terms of a difference, but that just changed. Add another 140 or so to that number, and now it's looking a little bit better. 5-2 for All-Stars. It's not that the BurningBrawlers can't come back from this, though. They have a very strong team if they just put if they coordinate well enough. On the other hand, though, it doesn't really. It might not be all up to them. They have a very mobile team that they're up against, just with the Froggy and the Leon alone, if they're good about it. And as long as they don't get caught out by Bull or by Totem or by Black Hole Sun, they will continue to be almost impossible to kill.
So we do have a really good delay tactic in terms of the scree. If you can't be very aggressive with that totem, you can be very defensive in terms of like the creeps coming up. You also have the saw blade, so that combos very nicely for creep cleanup. And then at the same time, Lone Star and the Dynamite, the Bull. We do have a lot of ways to keep All-Stars at bay in terms of their push and just try to money up, just like what we saw in the last game. So if we can get a little bit more, oomph under their belts. It could actually be a very different story because Duckman Drake just keeps getting in, getting the damage, and getting out.
And only barely, too, but he is going for that full damage tongue right now. He's picked up the big damage upgrade. Now he's going for the smaller damage upgrades. Daniel Will getting caught in a Black Hole Sun, but it's not going to end up doing very much damage since Surf Girl's Black Hole Sun didn't absorb a lot of damage to begin with. and there was no, and with the lack of follow-up, no kills ended up happening. But Daniel Will was a little bit vulnerable there. That was a good opportunity, but no dice.
Well, that was actually a really good airstrike there. The dash as well brings Server Girl really low. Caesar not looking so healthy either. The Gnaw-Izers was basically going to be out there for defend. But again, look at that. The totem into the Saw Blade. He keeps out that aggression, and he should be able to, hopefully successfully cover at this point.
One hopes, but Scree has a harder time than he used to in terms of dealing with these droids. He can do it, and his Saw Blade does help, but he has no damage upgrades on his Saw that actually help with creeps. It's just the base Saw, and as the game goes on, that Saw becomes less and less and less effective.
Yep.
Oh, Gnaw-Izers trying to get away there, and he's going to succeed. Daniel Will's going to get out of the Black Hole Sun's grip eventually and not end up taking any damage. Duckman Drake going in for some damage. He's going to take it instead, and Caesar Salad looking for some attempt at a kill, but Caesar Salad also takes a dash to the face. Now we got Harry Butchers. He's looking to try to help out with his low amount of HP as well. Daniel Will taking a Saw Blade to the face. Airstrike coming out. It's not going to end up hitting anything, and the blue team's going to bounce off the red team, and everybody's just going to kind of reset. Maybe not. Gnaw-Izer. Never mind. Gnaw-Izer's going to get out of there just fine as well.
Yeah, a lot of hit points trading back and forth, but it was not a kill either way. So Duckman Drake, what kind of upgrades are we actually looking at? We'll take a quick look after this. That was actually a really good Black Hole Sun. Oh, so very close on the Duckman Drake. Again, we just need a little bit more of a punch here from the Burning Brawlers in order to start putting more kills there on the board. But so far, I think they have actually successfully stalled out that earlier advantage with that AllStars was pushing with, because there's been nary tower hit point loss in the last few moments.
That might be the case, but at the same time, the solar difference is slowly growing. It seems like the red team is doing a better job of farming up both neutral camps and getting more solar from the droids as they die. Theirs as well as the opponents. Duckman Drake getting caught in a very strong placed totem and Saw Blade. Airstrike coming out is going to hit Sorfgirl. Sorfgirl is going to have to run away, but Caesar looking to get a kill, and maybe not. He's just going to go right back to pushing the lane and deal with Harry Butchers and Daniel Will. Daniel Will looking to maybe go in on this now that Black Hole Sun is over, but maybe not. As things are looking up right now for the blue team, Burning Brawlers getting their kill on Duckman Drake that they desperately needed. Considering the Duckman Drake was on was close to a killing spree, I think that might have given them extra solar. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, it's going to be welcome regardless. Look at that little extra push that Blue was able to actually get onto the top lane. So Burning Brawlers, they used the 2v3 to their advantage, chunked out that top, just like what AllStar did to them a little bit earlier. And 5-3, it's still anybody's game, as he said. In terms of, again, the items, I'm looking at the Leon with that tongue, as we see Daniel Will actually dropping. It was actually Gnaw-Izer that picked up the kill there.
The Scree. The Scree has done that twice.
Yep.
It is not luck. That is extremely good skill. Yeah, landing a perfect totem at the perfect time and then going down there and landing a perfect Saw Blade.
That's the tower.
That's the first tower of the game. Harry Butcher's taking a bunch of extra damages. He gets chased down a little bit, but he's going to end up surviving
close.
just barely. The airstrike there, just in case if anyone just decides to follow up. He might, but nope, they don't follow up. They decide instead, let's back off, push up some creep waves, and go for some stuff here. Duckman Drake up here, he's taking a little bit of damage, dealt some damage back, but they just kind of bounce off each other. And it's just whatever AllStars can do to defend for the couple seconds while everyone comes back.
So you're talking about solar differences.
That's gone
That's
now.
a gap that is definitely closed.
Oh yeah, it's practically gone now with all 100 solar between all the members of all of this game right now. It's a very small amount of solar between the two. So they're practically equal. It's 5-4. This is a really close game right now. 12 minutes into this game, and AllStars is actually have to put up a really good fight here.
Yeah, that rocket droid actually didn't really get anything out of this, and neither did that Black Hole Sun. Daniel Will was able to just dash on out to safety. Duckman not looking so hot. Did actually get off that tongue. Again, does have it pierced twice. Well, 3 times maybe looking at those upgrades. But it's not going to be a kill. I mean, the hit points are still very big here for Blue, and those airstrikes, they have been doing a lot of work in terms of the pushing for the creeps, but more and more I'm noticing they're not really hitting their marks.
That's true, but the airstrikes are coming out more as a spam thing, and the one problem with airstrike is that it's like the Saw Blade. It can only do so much damage against creeps, and as the game goes on, it becomes a less and less effective tool for dealing with them.
That was really good.
Yep, and Duckman Drake just kind of ghosting the Gnaw-Izer, trying to find a kill if he could, but he doesn't. Trinomite being picked up by the Lone Star on Burning Brawlers, so we can expect to see a lot more damage coming out of their team now as they try to get more aggressive with Face Might. Duckman Drake going in and out of Invis at a rate that is alarming. Oh, this might be death, and it's not death. Caesar Salad just barely managing to survive Daniel Will's damage. I don't even know what he did. Did he just shoot him with the fish gun?
It actually didn't even look like he did really anything out of it. Maybe it's just out of tricks at that point. But either way, Caesar Sal's going to get on out of that one. A good airstrike there lands on top of Nice. That's going to put him more on the back line. Caesar Sal does come on back out, but wow, there's the combo. That's going to be the tongue into the dash tornado. And Daniel Wills actually put us up now 6-4 between him. And this is not going to be looking good for the top.
No, I expect to see a lot of damage coming out on this top tower. And another kill. Well played by Daniel Will, dashing through the bull to get to that kill. Unfortunately for Caesar Sal, the bull does not save you unless if it has double slow on it. Not from the dash. Totem coming out to absorb some of the damage, and the red team now looking for an opportunity on Gnaweyes.
That's actually not doing any damage. Yeah, that was a machine gun that actually just finished it off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So well
Slight
played.
mistake right there from Gnaweyes.
Oh no. The totem just wasn't far enough. Gnaweyes are now in a really bad spot. Dougman Drake wants to pick him off, but I guess not. Never mind. Decides against it. Decides, you know what, maybe I know I want to live instead.
Daniel's like, let me through, let me through. Need to go help my teammate, but it's actually going to be the reverse as Gnaweyes drops to Harry Butchers. Once again, you know, a lot of spammy, but not maybe hitting the mark. Definitely hit it that time there with the airstrike.
And unfortunately, I don't think he had much choice. It was either go left into terrible, terrible death or go right into terrible, terrible death. He has to choose his way to die. And Daniel Will now, he has the Mutant Ninja Worms for his dash and NATO abilities. That's a lot of extra damage in one ability. 190 solar, and every time you land anything, you can shoot your fish gun for an extra bunch of damage. And they're doing a really good job of making that happen. Black Hole Sun coming out.
You see the ninja maneuvers right there from AllStars. So like, all right, he's coming up. We all dash out. No Black Hole Sun.
Exactly. And that's the thing. They're highly mobile. If they get caught in it, it could have been a problem. But so far, they haven't been caught in it without needing to be. Even with the gravitational pull on it, though, it's going to be difficult to catch Frog in that without some help. So at this point, if I were in Burning Brawler's shoes, I'd be thinking that I would need to pick up a slow bull. And Duckman Drake just barely going to pick up the HP pack there, and he's going to get right back into this fight. And there goes Surfer Girl as she goes down. And now it's up to Gnaweyes and the rest to try to pick off whatever's left. Harry Butchers gets bowled into the turret. Harry Butchers goes down, and just barely Caesar Salad manages to live. Duckman Drake just waiting for it. He's waiting for a good opportunity.
Might be able to get Gnaweyes here. Nope.
No, Gnaweyes decides to go home. Duckman Drake decides, you know what, screw this, I'm not waiting for nothing, and picks up at least a creep kill.
Goes all the way home. Big upgrades coming out from the Froggy G. Basically, the red team across the board. It's going to be Pills, though, for the Scree. And again, like that tongue piercing for the Leon, he's been able to do some really interesting initiations with it. The tongues into the combos. You saw him again in that last fight. He was the big target, but there's a 500 in the top, went right back into it. They got the kills out of it, and still, oh man, even more upgrades coming out from this Leon. Oh my goodness, he is becoming a powerhouse here as Red's now sitting 10-5 and looking for their second turret. And they might actually have a good spot of initiation here.
Oh, they just knocked Surfer Girl down, but she was invis. Oh, Daniel Will might go down here. Nope, he does not. He dashes at exactly the right time to avoid the damage and does a lot of damage in return. So everyone is going to get out of there as fast as they can. Caesar Salad just barely managing to escape with his life as the blue team runs away from AllStars. AllStars doing a really good job of taking what looked to be an awful situation and turning it completely around. Tongue into airstrike into maybe some death. Yes! What a jump may be, but it wasn't enough as Harry Butcher's damage over time upgrade ends up being the killing blow onto the Sentry. Surfer Girl going down. That was really, really close. Almost got away.
Yeah, had he actually gotten away with one hit point, that would have been absolutely terrible for AllStars because Duckman Drake basically did let him go through that bottom entrance that he, of course, cannot chase down. But you got a help request there from the Ted in the bottom, and they're really eyeing that turret. But once again, you got that totem. It's going to keep Harry Butchers out of this, and that's going to be enough, unfortunately, for Duckman Drake to kill the Gnaweyes, or perhaps a little bit too far forward. Once again, I'm going to point out, All-Star, very cohesive as a unit. They're very rarely ever apart, and that would have been a three-man stack, except that Harry did get caught out by the totem. But, you know, Gnaw was alone. The Gnaweyes was way too far forward and by himself.
That is absolutely true. And against a team like this where you have Invis pretty much on demand and you're controlling the center of the map, so you have access to two Invis characters. One of them a Leon, the other one could be whatever you want. Probably a Frog in this particular occasion, and an Invis Frog is always terrifying. Like you can see the burst he's put out so far with Hammer Pants and all the damage upgrades on his dash. That dash is now maxed out.
Yep.
So on top of that, you've got Surprise Party Mask, all the piercing upgrades for things, and out comes the dash. Gnaweyes are just barely managing to get away with a well-placed totem. And then with Harry Butchers, he's picking up damage on the airstrike now. So there's a lot of damage coming out, and the other team, Burning Brawlers, is trying to counter by picking up pills, but it might not be enough. Knives are going down to the Frog there, and now it's a 3v2. Caesar Salad taking an airstrike. He's going to barely manage to get away, and Surfer Girl just putting out some photon launchers. Duckman Drake just whiffing his party mask. Man,
that bottom turret is really saving the bacon here at the Burning Brawlers because that barrier is still up. It's really the only line of defense that Burning has because Nawizer once again does actually get bursted down. He's no longer going to be on the scene. It's a 2v3 defense, and now without that barrier, that's an interesting Black Hole Sun, but it's not quite enough here to either take home Duckman or Daniel. And as you said, Daniel with all the hammer pants, all the damage. Like, I'm a little surprised we haven't seen anything for the tornado, but at this point, why why fix what's not broke?
At the same time, right now the meta is to go full into dash damage because it's so much easier to land than tweeters. You do eventually build into NATO. It's the second thing you do, typically speaking. But for most frogs these days, what you end up doing is going for full dash damage into Ninja Worms, into a couple of ticks of NATO, which is a fair amount of damage. If you can land even like 3 ticks, that's 450 damage.
Frog is a very wealthy frog.
Very, very wealthy frog, sitting at 1,900 solar total against the max on the Scree for Burning Brawlers, who is currently sitting on 1,700. So this has been a very... oh, wow. Lots of damage coming out. Harry Butcher's taking the majority of it. He's going to go ahead and walk away. Caesar Salad also taking some damage. He's going to go ahead and pick up some creeps to get his HP back on par. Red team looking to maneuver to get in there again. Nawizer taking a dash, taking some stabs to the face, and down Nawizer goes. Surf Girl now with Caesar Salad, but just the two of them trying to defend against this. Caesar Salad puts out a bull at exactly the right time to survive and manages to push off this team that really wanted his blood. Surf Girl takes an airstrike to the face and is going to go ahead and just pick up some HP to get out of there. But is he going to live? Absolutely not. Between Duckman Drake and Frog just bursting him down, Sentry is going to die. Yeah, and that's going to be a 3v1.
Slippery slope at this point. It's 15-5 All-Star. You know, they've really started pushing up. They've gotten themselves both of the Tier 1 turrets. They're not looking so good on the second ones either here for the Burning Brawlers. So All-Star is very much poised here to move into the round of 16 here in the Alienware Awesome Cup. But something I also want to point out is since Nawizer's has been dying a lot, it's like, all right, how many pills has he got? He's got triple pills. Then he has Piggy Bank. He bought Piggy Bank in like the 17-minute mark. That's a sign of desperation.
It is a sign of desperation. It is definitely one of those last-ditch attempts to try to get that little bit of soul you need for an ability that you absolutely think is going to change the game around.
Actually, he has no boots.
Yep.
That's
Scree's
pretty
fast, though.
Yeah.
Scree is pretty fast. He doesn't need boots.
Could he be faster? Yes, but
yeah,
that's the sacrifice. So, like, wait, he has already one rank of regen as well. So.
The thing that he has to keep in mind right now is that he needed to survive, and he's close enough to his turrets that he should be able to walk there. So he needs regen. Like, regen and pills is not a bad way to go.
No,
but it's not going to be enough there. Duckman Drake just sits there waiting for him to bounce off that bounce pad. Surf Girl now going to probably be the next one to go, as Daniel Will picks up a dash kill there.
Yeah, so that's a 2-for-0 exchange. This is almost guaranteed one, if not both of these turrets. Like, you got Caesar Salad, arguably the best of the defenders. Because, you know, Harry, as you see, going to have a little bit of trouble actually pushing up between the Dynamite as well as that Bull. But, you know, top, it's going to be all about the Frog, and now Caesar just has to kind of divide and conquer. And really actually going to be very surprised if we don't take home a turret.
And then, so far, it looks like they're not going to end up taking a whole turret, but they are going to eventually outrun Lone Star's ability to move between lanes. But not before the Scree does come up and help out a bit.
It's because he dies right here.
Harry almost died. If that Saw Blade had just been a little bit quicker, I think that he might have ended up biting there. But no dice, no eyes are narrowly missing a possible kill, but we can't be completely sure.
Power of the defensive Lone Star, man. He was able to defend both lanes. They both took minimal damage, and, you know, Trinamite and Bulls, they do the work. Duckman Drake getting worked over himself. That Saw coming back, though. Eyes are not looking so healthy. Harry Butcher's possibly going to go for the shotgun to the face, but nope, doesn't actually look for it because he does have all those items into the airstrike. Doesn't land, however. Black Hole Sun does come out, the Saw Blade and the Bull, but it's just going to be a big disengage here from the Burning Brawlers.
And rightly so, since Duckman Drake and Daniel are just sitting there waiting for someone who's crazy enough to go in with low HP. The solar difference now absolutely staggeringly getting to a point where it's staggeringly high. We have 2,400, 2,300, and 2,500 and on the red team. And then, yeah, on the Blue team, not so much. Knives are taking a lot of extra damage. Harry Butchers gets caught out, though, in a good Black Hole Sun into Saw Blade, but
Nice.
Duckman Drake says, nope, you died today. Left click, you're dead. Party Mask says you are not of this world anymore. So that's a 1-for-1 exchange, which is never a bad thing considering Duckman Drake taking some damage. Daniel Will getting off the dash. He gets bowled into the turret, and down he goes. Another important kill to pick up since he was also on a killing spree, and that does give a little bit of extra solar. So that's a 2-for-1. That's a really good exchange, and they need to keep that up if Burning Brawlers is to hope to win this. Oh, but Caesar Salad gets burst out by a Party Mask. Duckman Drake ends up going down after everything is said and done, though. Caesar Salad doing a good job. That was very impressive.
Yeah, the Black Hole Sun actually paid off in that regard. And now, you know, Caesar Salad, he's still up. It's actually all three are now back on the board here from Burning Brawlers, and you can see immediately they're going to go bottom. They're going to go for that push. Black Hole Sun's not going to catch out this Ted. Ted does, of course, have the airstrike ready to go. You got to be very careful. It one-shot the creeps right there. I mean, that if you need to defeat a push, just take out the creeps. I mean, they'll fall back.
In most cases, yeah, but there's no healer on the other team, so you're absolutely correct. This is the one time where having a Voltar could be helpful here, but as we saw before, Voltar, let's not talk about Voltar. I agree. Speaking of things other than Voltar, right now sitting at 18-8. A couple of key upgrades that have been picked up recently include an interesting missile pickup and the lifesteal on the Saw Blade. So missile pickup on the Lone Star. Duckman Drake going for some damage on Surf Girl here. It's not going to end up being too much because Surf Girl is actually pretty tanky right now. And the Knives are trying to get away, gets tongued, gets dashed, gets Party Masked, still ends up surviving. Now, if only they could have capitalized on the overextension by Team All-Star, Burning Brawlers could have netted a kill there, I think, on Duckman Drake.
It could have been possible, but just the positioning was not there. 18-8 is still a very daunting score. I mean, we have a lot of pills now on the board. You see the totem going up to the top there from Nas. He's trying to cut off this cave. And, well, it worked for one jump against the Daniel Will, but Nas is just continually getting focus. He's not going to actually be on back to home. Surf Girl picks up boots at the 24-minute mark. Brave.
Well, you know, when you need to move fast, it's never a bad thing. Boots are always effective when you pick them up. They always do something useful, which is good.
Passive.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not like some other upgrades where they are really effective early on, but really dwindle off later when they don't measure up to other upgrades, which could have been more useful. So something like Ninja Worms on Frog, for instance, is still very useful, but it's not as strong as some other upgrades later on.
The burst actually came out really big right there. Duckman Drake actually goes down. Daniel Will, low hit points. But Surfer Girl, I don't think is going to be really in the mindset there in order to capitalize on that chase. Daniel Will, of course, now also picks up 3 of those jungle hit points. But again, another nice use of totem right there. But it's actually Harry Butchers that takes home the kill. And now here comes the cleanup, though, from Daniel Will. He will save out the life of his teammate, but he's not going to be able to capitalize on another kill.
Not yet, but he's got the invis, and he is looking for it. He wants another kill, and I think he sees one in Surf Girl. He just picked up the solar, but Surf Girl didn't see that, and nope, goes on Caesar Salad instead. Manages to jump around that bull really, really well, and now he's chasing Caesar Salad for a little bit, and he decides to back off after all. Instead of being greedy. So probably the smart play, all things considered. Harry Butcher's now at low HP. Oh, out comes the dash, out comes the stab, out comes the Ninja Worms, and that's the end of Surf Girl as she decides, you know what, I'll try to take this creep wave. Nope, no, you do not. You die.
I thought it was actually going to be a capitalization on that airstrike to go for the sentry, but as I said, I mean, turned right back around, went on top of Caesar Salad. Still, kill secured eventually there, as now we're still waiting for that drop pod to drop. 26-minute game. 20-9. All-Stars, you know, they got those kills, but their push has really been stalled out.
Yeah, they seem to have had a hard time chipping away at these last couple of towers, but they are slowly going down. And the first turrets for Team Burning Brawlers still need to, they still need to get that other one on the bottom. Duckman Drake taking a Trinamite to the face before invising and backing off. But as it stands right now, All-Stars is doing a good job of chipping away. They're not giving away kills unnecessarily for the most part. They haven't made a lot of mistakes, and they're just playing it safe. Right now, when you're in the lead, that's not a bad thing to do. Playing it safe allows you to continue to keep your lead, and when you start getting greedy, that's when you lose it. Out comes the Black Hole Sun. Harry Butcher's not going to take the damage, and Duckman Drake looking to deal some. As a result, Knives are taking it to the face, losing half of his HP before picking up the creeps. Harry Butcher's taking some damage. He's going to end up getting away as well.
Turrets are still standing, however, but still Burning Brawlers, they're falling farther and farther back. Daniel Will will capitalize on the kill, and it is going to be Sentry again, just thrown up to the drop pod. So 2v3 pressure coming in. Daniel will not really anywhere in sight. He's actually going to be top there. He's dealing with the nods or Harry Butches and the airstrikes. Yeah, that's going to be enough to take out the totem, but is it going to be enough to take out the towers?
Well, with enough help with Duckman Drake, and because Sentry's going to be like another 10, maybe 15 seconds before he gets back into this fight, they still have some time to do stuff. And Daniel Will, invisible, he's just waiting for a good opportunity to jump somebody.
Lone Star.
Yeah, pretty much. Just saying, hey, kitty, 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 bang! Or almost bang.
Yeah.
Goes for the NATO first instead of the dash. Saves the dash for another day, I suppose. Duckman Drake barely managing to get out of there with his life. Picks up a health pack before going home and calling it an evening for that particular push. Harry Butcher's down here now, also pushing out. He's currently 3-2, shotgunning his way. Yeah, he's doing a good job with that.
Yeah, machine guns now coming out as well. We've seen him actually pushing down towers, at least chipping away at their hit points with machine guns more often than not. That's a really nice capitalization on top of Caesar Sao. That momentary pause and the double now going the way of Duckman. He's going to go for the party, and it is the triple kill killing spree wipeout combo.
And that is game over. Yeah, that is definitely going to be game over as this core now takes the brunt of the damage. No one's going to be down for another 18 to 20 seconds. This is definitely, absolutely, completely finished. AllStars picking up this win in the best of one. BurningBrawlers definitely put up a good fight, though. Like, all things considered, they did try very hard, and they did do a very good job of it. But AllStar, they had the experience, they had the knowledge, they had the items in the solar to do it, and they managed to finally capitalize on one too many mistakes.
Well, once you get to the late game, that was a 29-minute game. As I think that's the longest one that we've had now on stream.
It is.
It might look a little one-sided, 24-9, but there was a lot going for both sides, and they kind of did flip-flop a lot. But 29 minutes in, you're having max death cooldowns, and a wipeout is literally objectives. And when the only objective left is the core, it's almost like guaranteed you call it right there.
Again, I completely agree with you. At that point, it was just that team wipe was really unfortunate for them. They got caught out, and there was
if
enough
you recall,
burst.
It started Caesar Salad on a separate level got air struck, which then there was an invis frog got in there. Duckman Drake with the party mask, with the tongue pierce, with the backstab, cleaned up, and it was just dominoes right there.
Yep, one fell, and then the rest of the team tried to save, but then the other one fell, and so on and so forth.
That's exactly it.
And it really helped that the solar advantage was so overwhelmingly in their favor. They played it very safe, and although they did die a couple of times, like 9 times total, though, like that's not all that much solar that they lost. They played it incredibly close to their chest, so that way they could just come out on top with enough sieging, with enough time spent, with enough patience, and that's important in Knots too, is being patient enough to be able to outlast the other team.
And I've said this before, Leons have really led the way in terms of their games. It's usually Leon with the most solar. This time, Ted, believe it or not, 3,300. The flip side, though, 2,300. So, yeah, on a par, 1,000 solar plus between each of the matchups. That's
5 abilities
game
per
ending.
Knot.
That is 5 abilities.
That is a lot of different abilities. And even then, the lowest one, the frog, in terms of solar, at 2,900, was still leagues ahead of the highest. So
it's almost like one. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, it's almost 1K per matchup. That's pretty intense.
So it seems like the makeup that BurningBrawlers was going for, just their initial strategy sort of started working, but the Sentry's Black Hole Sun just couldn't be capitalized upon. They couldn't make it work. Yeah, it came out sometimes, but even then it was it wasn't as often as you'd like. Yep. And maybe with the Lone Star, that wasn't exactly the character you're looking for. I mean, Lone Star works in every lineup, but maybe he wasn't the best choice.
It's very circumstantial. I mean, the bow will actually put the people out of it, so that leaves you with dynamite and auto attacks, and sometimes just nothing will hit. Yeah. The Froggy was very elusive as well. I mean, that's a big counter to the Sentry. It's like you get caught in there, dash out. It won't stop. It's just like a Vinny. Vinny can dash out, and you can avoid a lot of that damage. So, I mean, yeah, a little unfortunate, but, we will say goodbye now to the BurningBrawlers. And we're actually going to cover another round of 32 match here of the Alienware Awesome Cup, because we're going to have some longtime friends return here on stream with the 3-headed monkeys. So they're going to show us what they can do in their next match here at the Alienware Awesome Cup.